Okay, so the first post-purchase flow that we're going to look at is the immediate upsell. Some people call it like a bounce back flow also. Now, it's probably the most important flow that you'll have in your arsenal. Now, it's not going to be the biggest revenue driving flow, but the purpose of retention marketing and email and SMS and everything like that is we're trying to get first-time buyers to become second-time buyers for a few reasons. If someone can be a second-time buyer, chances of them coming back to be a third, fourth, fifth-time buyer greatly increases. The other thing is that a lot of the time you break even, or there's no profit on the first order, or there's very little profit on the first order. And most of your profit or margins are made when you get a first-time buyer to become a second-time buyer. The other important thing to note is that the propensity for somebody to buy again is at its highest right after they make that first purchase. So you'll probably see or hear a lot of other people saying, if somebody's ordered, don't try and sell them again. We should just be thanking them and educating. That's cool, that's great. You will be doing that in another flow, but this is where they're most excited. This is where the endorphins are running. This is where they're most engaged with the brand. They've just purchased, they're hyped up, they've just taken out their credit card and paid for something. This is the most opportune moment for you to sell them again. And if you look at the data, and of course I do recommend that you do, a lot of the brands that we work with, they're fast moving consumer product goods. So it's like skincare, supplements, things like that. When we actually look at the data, like in Lifetime or Triple Whale, we actually notice that a large amount of first to second orders happen. The vast amount always happens in the first 30 days, but we even see brands where the biggest amount of those actually happen within the 4 to 7 days of someone making their first initial order. So a few things here. Of course, we've got the flow filters, everything like that. A few other things I just want to go over, right? Purpose is to upsell another product to the customer while they're waiting for their current order. We want to promote new products such as new arrivals, newly launched products, or something that will complement their recent purchase. So as you see here, it's like also recommended for you. Now this, when it says new products, new arrivals, newly launched products, doesn't have to be that. I actually would recommend doing something else, which we do mention later down here in the brief, but we'll just keep moving. Customers in the most engaged phase, the recency of their purchase makes right now the best time for them to purchase again. They've just purchased, so they are primed to make another purchase. And then, of course, considering 75% of your customers actually don't come back to make a second purchase. So you can go look at your data, you can go look at your segments, check over the past 90 days or within a specific time frame, how many one-time buyers did you have and how many 2+ buyers did you have? And you'll probably notice that it's only 15% to 20% have actually made a second purchase. It's very little, right? You're going to want to capture as much extra margin as you can. And once again, I do say check your time between first and second purchase to time this email. What I really recommend, which the guy who made bounce back emails famous, Drew Sanoki, he always says to show low cost, best selling, high margin items and use urgency and an incentive if possible. So why do we do lower costs or half the average order value or something like that? Is because we want to make it an impulse buy. So we don't want to show products that are $100, right? Depending on what your average order value is. Let's say average order value is $100. We don't want to be showing them $100 items because there's going to be a lot of pushback on them spending another $100. So try and show them $20 items and $50 items, especially if it really complements their current purchase, which you can, of course, then get a bit more complicated and have a bunch of conditional splits here, depending on what they bought, which we also do. So if they bought, this item, then we know that they should probably get this item to complement it. But if they bought something else, then they should probably look at something else, right? Bestseller, we try to show bestsellers if you're doing a more generic one because we know that they sell really well. People love to buy them. And then of course, high margin items, because really the goal of this is not just to get a second purchase, but to get as much profit as you can out of that second purchase. So one thing I actually have to change here. Okay, one small thing I just changed in this is that you only want to show this to first time buyers, right? So you do want to have a conditional split here that they've only placed one order over all time. Yes, then they get the upsell. If they haven't, then they get exited out of this upsell. Okay, cool. So that all makes sense. Exclude equals true. They get the upsell. We wait 2 days, and then exclude equals false. So let's have a look at what these emails would look like. Okay, famous bounce back email from Karma. Somebody who's bought something. There's urgency here. It's like, hurry, add one of these, order in the next 60 minutes, use this code. So there's urgency there in text and also a visual. They've used a clock. I believe it is a GIF. So you can use something digital, like digital clock or analog clock, to visualize that urgency. It's a very cheap item, $9. So we don't even have to think much about buying it. They're just, oh, it's $9. That's pretty cheap. Maybe I'll actually use this code and get it for $9. And the other important thing to do is, when I'm saying you want to show them some products, try not to show them too many products, right? So this is perfect. There's like 3 products, black, gray, white. These are best sellers. They're high margin products. And you're making the buying decision easy for the customer, right? Here's 3 things you can choose from. What do you want? Choose one. This isn't specifically an immediate upsell. I believe it's like your next box. It's a subscription. But before the next box ships out, they're saying, hey, do you want to add some more products to it? Once again, low price, limited options. Well, there's actually a few, actually. There's 5. And then very easy to execute and make a buying decision on this. Here's another one from Jollibee. Get a bowl of turmeric gummies in the next hour and take 20% off, right? So once again, using that urgency, it's like, hey, we got a great offer. You can come back, you can get something at a great price, but it's only for a limited time. So it just pushes them to take action. And then once again, this is actually a GIF and this clock is moving. Gives them the code claim now and then some benefits of getting these gummies. Now, I want to show you one that we're creating for a client and this is also really good to do where you're just trying to upsell them complimentary products, especially for a premium brand that doesn't want to do discounts or give away anything. So a brand that doesn't discount at all. So you can't be like, hey, get this in the next hour. It's this much off, like go, go, go. In this case, it's, let's just scroll down. You know, depends on what collection they've gotten. So if it's like they ordered something from this collection, fine lines and wrinkles, they'll be like, hey, this is also recommended for you. And then you can set up a second email, radiant supple skin, here we come, right? Things like that. If they went and bought from a collection that was about loss of firmness and elasticity, then it's like, hey, this would really complement your order, so on and so forth. So you can even personalize that. But once again, very, very important to create this immediate upsell. It's the best time in the customer journey for somebody to make an impulse buy and get them to become a second time buyer right away, instead of waiting, 30 days later or a couple weeks later to start doing your incentivizing repeat purchases, where somebody maybe has already lost interest, they're not as hyped up, they're already going on about their day and have forgotten about your brand, right? So you're just trying to capture them right in that moment where they're thinking about your brand, they've just been on your website, they've just bought, like it is the perfect time to do it. And actually, yeah, we do actually have some insights here that I can also share with you. So a lot of repeat orders happen within the customer's first 90 days. Traffic from email shows high conversion rates. Engagement over email drops after 90 days. So here's some stats from first to second order cohorts, percentage of people who have made their repeat purchase. And as you can see, most of it always happens within the first 90 days, which is why we always focus on improving that customer lifetime value in the first 90 days. Because after 90 days, people really start to churn from coming back as a repeat buyer. Is a skincare brand. This one is for a supplement brand. As you can see, most of it done in the 30 and then 60 days after. And then we can also look at so this is time between first and second order. This for a supplement brand. 30% of people make their second order within the first 30 days. Here's one for a hair care brand. And that's also same thing. In the first 30 days, most people come back and make their second order. And then you can see here, 44% for this skincare brand make it within the first 30 days. And once again, if we actually had set this to 5-day intervals, you would actually see the highest percentage when it comes to 5-day intervals is that people make their second purchase within the first 4 to 7 days for a lot of brands that we work with. So definitely something to think about and something you should be implementing into your flows.